The best of money matters. Right Business.
Welcome to The Right Business, where we dive deep into the stories of trailblazers who dare to disrupt the status quo, find the gap in the market to find the right business. Hello, I'm Hongbin Jeong. What if nightlife didn't mean loud bars and blurry mornings, but rich coffee aromas and intricate underground beats? That's the idea behind Beans&Beats, a business that's grown from an intimate apartment gathering into a vibrant space. So how are they redefining social spaces while creating a scene where flavor and sound come together in perfect harmony? Well, joining us today to share more is Matteo Hidajat and Aden Xing, who are the co-founders of Beans&Beats. Hi guys, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks so much for having us.
Thank you so much for joining me. All right, I just want to start off by asking Matteo here, what was the defining moment which sparked the idea behind Beans&Beats?
I think it started really casually and very organically. I've been friends with Ethan and Aden since secondary school. Known them for about 8 years now, right? Yeah. And so we were at Eden's house one night and Ethan brought over some of his coffee, to share, right? Because he's really, really into coffee. And he told me that one of his dreams is to open a cafe. And I told him you don't have any money.
Oh dear.
And so then Aden, at that time, he was also getting really into DJing. And so we thought why don't we hold a coffee party, right? And then we all agreed and we just started, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we had our first event at a event space somewhere at Boat Quay. There was those rooms that you could rent that people usually rent for birthday parties. We set up a camera. We had this really janky setup, small deck, small speaker. And we just started to film clips on it. Yeah.
So that vibe kind of clicked and you guys saw it work. So, Aden, underground music and sobriety don't really go hand in hand, right? So why was it important for you to create a space that was alcohol-free?
Yeah, so it's actually really interesting that you bring that up. I think one of the defining moments or encounter that, I experienced was when I was DJing, more genres that you wouldn't hear typically at a mainstream club, like a piano or Miami bass. My friend told me, hey, if you spin this kind of beats, I won't be able to appreciate it when I'm completely sober. And I think, I sort of wanted to challenge that, or, collectively as well with my other co-founders, which is why our motivation was to create this space free of alcohol, just really there to appreciate the sensory experience of, music and also specialty coffee. So I think another point for us is we also want to emphasize on, making healthy relationships. I think we hope that Beans&Beats can also be a space where, since people are not intoxicated, they can forge more genuine friendships as well. Yeah.
Right. Well, then how was the response? Matteo, how did people first respond to this idea of appreciating music without the usual nightlife distractions like alcohol or loud crowds?
I think when we first blasted it over social media and we took clips from our first soft launch, which is what we call it in our team, people responded quite well.
Okay.
Actually, it's not really a very fresh concept. It has been done a lot in the past. It's just that I think it was done in a different context, right? So, for example, tea dances were around in the 90s. There was similar concepts in Indonesia as well. And so we were just skeptical whether it would work in Singapore. Because generally in Singapore, people are not very adventurous in trying new things. And so when we started it out, we were very surprised with the reception that we received. Yeah.
Do you think it's also partly because, there have been articles done about this as well, where Gen Zs don't really like going out and enjoying nightlife, drinking alcohol per se. So maybe perhaps this is why the pickup or the reception was good.
Yeah, I think we were rather fortunate. When we talked to a lot of our attendees, we sort of boiled it down to two main drivers of why peak in interest for Beans&Beats. I think the first reason would be the cost of going out at night. I think a lot of Gen Zs especially, sort of dissuaded from that high taxi cost back home and of course the alcohol costs as well. I think the second reason we identified was also the wellness trend. When you see high rocks, yoga, Pilates, all these is
run clubs.
Yeah, run clubs as well. Yeah, a really big thing now. I think we were really, really fortunate to sort of be in that space where, people who are interested in wellness, people who are also trying to find alternatives to, nightlife, sort of just found us. And
so I think it's a combination of like push and pull factors. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. I mean, Beans&Beats is the first of its kind here in Singapore, with its evolving from an apartment gallery into a movement that's redefining social spaces. So, Aden, from your experience, how does coffee kind of enhance the experience of enjoying music?
That is a really interesting question. So I would say that it definitely differs from person to person. This is a question that we love to ask our attendees. At our events, we give everyone coffee tasting cards where we get them to identify, how does the coffee taste to you? And to different people, it would taste differently. Someone could interpret maybe cherry flavors as more fruity. Someone could, interpret it as, something that is slightly more acidic. I think it really differs from person to person. But for me, especially because I'm sort of curating the music for Beans&Beats as well, I really love when we tell a story, the coffee's origins. For example, when we did for Common Man Coffee, we did a coffee roast called Piano in homage to the genre Amapiano, and sort of, we sourced the beans from the origins of Amapiano, which is from Africa. And then at the event, we also played, Amapiano genres. And I think that sort of storytelling is something that I really enjoyed doing. Yeah.
Okay, very interesting. So, I mean, was the pairing of intricate beats with quality brews intentional, though? Why not, non-alcoholic drinks like mocktails? How did you guys come up with this conclusion to use quality brews as well?
Yeah, I think a big part of it is because of our third co-founder. He's really, really into specialty coffee.
Okay.
And honestly, when he first brewed for Matteo and I, pour over coffee, I was a bit hesitant at first because I'm someone who really, really loves milk, even though I'm lactose intolerant. But I would still drink, my coffee with milk, right? So when he first did that, it looked like an Americano, right? I was a bit skeptical. But once I started to taste, he sort of walked me through, like, okay, you're supposed to be tasting maybe notes of even like green tea, for example, in this coffee, even though he didn't add anything to it. And sort of, when he walked me through that process, I started to be like, okay, I think I can appreciate this.
And the moment he brought us into like the world of fermentation, right?
Oh yeah.
Wow, that was mind
Fermented coffee, So I think, the goal of the space, I'll boil it down to three things. Number one is to, have a space where people can appreciate specialty coffee. Number two, it's for healthy relationships to form. And number three is also to help people appreciate all genres of music. Done all in a sober environment.
Right. Well then, Matteo, what was the biggest challenge that Beans&Beats faced when trying to bring this concept to life?
I think it was really trying to figure out how to grow and continue developing this concept. I think we're also facing that struggle right now, like how do we keep it fresh? How do we keep it new? How do we introduce new elements so that people who still who have been to our events in the past still continue to come by? But one of the biggest challenges we have also is how do we still stay true to our core values, right? Because Beans&Beats started really out as a passion project for all of us. So we were never really in it to turn it into a business. But as we've grown, we've started to hire full-timers. I mean, we're moving into an office next week. I think balancing these two things, like our passion versus our business elements of it was quite difficult.
Were there any moments where people would just walk into Beans&Beats and just was confused by the idea that, oh, you're serving me coffee and then you have this underground music going on, and they were just confused? How did you explain that concept?
I think it doesn't really occur at our events because a lot of our events are sort of pre-sale tickets, and really glad that we were able to attract that demographic down who sort of know about our concept and want to experience, sober clubbing, unique spaces all across Singapore. But I would say that I'm really surprised. Attendees are really surprised whenever we talk to them, saying like, I didn't think I would have this much fun. I thought I would need a bit of alcohol to, dance at 4 p.m. on like maybe a Saturday afternoon. I think that's something that we really, really enjoy seeing, people appreciating DJs, outside of nightclubs, in alternative venues and specialty coffee as well.
Well then, do you guys see Beans&Beats influencing how other social spaces are designed in the future?
Yeah, I don't think that Beans&Beats necessarily will be the main influence, but I think generally in the world we do see a trend where spaces are designed a lot more intentionally with communities in mind. And I think right now the buzzword of community building is being thrown around a lot, right? And I think it will definitely continue. So I do think that venues will start prioritizing programming, will start prioritizing community, and start prioritizing events in general. Because now I think having a coffee shop is not enough. You need to have a storyline behind it, having some community and having some events down there.
So then what's next for Beans and Beats? What's in the works at the moment?
Yeah, so we have a lot of exciting plans that the team is working really hard on. I think maybe I can just share a few. We're definitely going to continue pumping out, higher quality events while still retaining that our brand of preserving, non-alcoholic spaces, underground and commercial sounds. I think we're also exploring, having Beans and Beats Supper Club. So it's a concept where it's still non-alcoholic environment, but at heritage places all across Singapore. So think, prata shops, coffee shops, really kopitiams.
We're actually launching it end of the month, 29th, 30th. We're doing our largest project today. It's a event at Funan Mall where we're taking up 3 stages there. Flying in regional DJs in, and it's free for public.
So this is the first time we're sort of exploring after hours timing while still retaining that non-alcoholic aspect. And I think it's going to be, hopefully it's going to be really fun. We'll have a lot of exciting DJs.
Very, very exciting. Thank you so much for spilling the beans with us. And thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. That was Matteo Lee Hidajat and Aden Lo Xing, who are the co-founders of Beans and Beats. This has been The Right Business with me, Hongbin Jeong.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.